What's up, y'all? It's Dr. David Roney. I hope everybody's doing well. It's day 20, man. 20 days in a row of doing a video of my 31-day challenge to post financial content daily to YouTube. And, man, we're making it, man. We got 11 more days to go. We're doing a good job. Today we're talking about life insurance. You know, when I was a kid, my grandmother, man, we were poor, but for some reason we always had life insurance. Man, I can remember a life insurance guy, salesman, will always stop by our house, man. We paid those premiums. And to be honest, when it came time, when people started dying, there was no life insurance to be found, man. They didn't invest, they didn't do anything like that, but they made sure there was life insurance for us. But, who knows what happened to those policies. And it always put a bad taste in my mouth. And then when I got older, I started looking into who gets sold life insurance. It turns out African Americans get sold life insurance and we buy life insurance more than any other demographic. It's kind of crazy for me, right? And, I see on social media people talking about, hey, you got to be your own bank. And they talk about these infinite banking concepts, of the quote unquote wealthy. That's different, man. Life insurance in general, it's a policy that you take out in the event of your early demise or your late demise, right? Early on in your life, there's a couple differences. They have really the two categories is term versus whole life. Whole life, I think, is a scam when you're early in your career. Like, I personally, the amount of money that you're putting into a whole life insurance policy, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're trying to fund your retirement by doing so, because you can make more by just putting it in an index fund or whatever you want to put it in a stock market, because the amount of fees that you're paying for a whole life insurance policy is outrageous before you start to actually accumulate equity in that policy, right? Now, term can be anywhere, 15, 20, 25, whatever you want to do. Like, you go talk to an insurance agent, insurance broker, and they find you a policy that works. In general, most people are usually underinsured. Hell, I think I might be underinsured for what I've grown to, and you constantly have to reevaluate it. Life insurance is one of those things that we need to do a better job of making sure that we are insured properly. And the policies, typically less than $2 million or less than $100, if depending on your financial profile, your credit profile, things of that sort, they can be less than $100 per month, up to $2 million. Usually after $2 million is when you have to start doing medical exams and things of that sort. But really understanding how much your life insurance coverage is. Now, when life insurance is, I hate this concept that I need to die for my family to get wealth. That shouldn't be a thing. But that's a thing in what's always been taught to me in sort of the black community is like, hey, there's an expensive life insurance policy. When they die, I hate that thought, right? Life insurance is there as like, hey, David passed unexpectedly. I don't want his family saddled with debt that he carried or his negative sort of like his liabilities. We want to make sure that all that stuff, you shouldn't be getting rich off of a person's death. That's just my opinion, right? Especially from a life insurance policy, but that's how some people use it. I don't think that's the case. While you're young, you should really make an effort to get term insurance. Term insurance is basically, hey, you can just keep rolling the term. And then once you get to a point where hey, you're retired and things of that sort, yeah, you can think about whole life insurance so that you can sort of guarantee yourself a certain amount and you can borrow against the premium that's there and sort of take some of that out. But term life insurance is really going to be your workhorse. There's other insurances you should really think about, right? As you sort of get older, right, the more you're going to start to carry more risk when you start getting married, you have a career. Like, disability insurance is something you need to think about, right? So at the baseline, everyone should have life insurance and health insurance. It's not even a doubt, right? The next tier up is let me start thinking about getting disability insurance to make sure, if I have a catastrophic injury. And that, if you remember those Aflac commercials, I don't really watch TV these days, but Aflac, right, is disability insurance that if your job requires you to be physically fit, and then all of a sudden you get a bad knee injury, bad hand injury, you can't work for a significant period of time. You need to protect your income. Some hospitals will give you disability insurance, but it's nowhere near the amount of income that you're going to need. So you have to go out and purchase your own policy. Getting that policy early on and sort of keeping it active is very important. Now, disability insurance, the next thing. The next thing after that is, as you start to accumulate sort of assets, you're going to want to get umbrella insurance to protect the things that you don't really know about, right? Like to protect your backside, the gray areas. You're also going to want to get renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance. Typically, mortgage companies want you to have homeowner's insurance no matter what. So if you're buying a house, that's another insurance you're going to get, right? As you keep going, you're constantly going to need to buy insurance. Insurance is one of those things that it protects you from a rainy day, protects you from something going wrong, because you really can't watch out for everything. You can't predict everything, whether it's in your portfolio. People talk about options like to the downside being insurance for your portfolio. That's the whole tail risk hedging concept. There's a good book from Nassim Taleb, who talks about this concept, right? The whole black swan events and really protecting your portfolio. Insurance is going to be a mainstay of what you do, but don't let social media gas you up and think that you can, quote unquote, do these things that the uber wealthy do and sort of utilize their insurance as like income. That's not really a thing when you don't have money, right? When you're still trying to build your portfolio up, you're still trying to build your assets up. That's not really a thing, man. And I know I'm going to get some angry comments. I really don't care, because a lot of y'all are just pitching BS. Insurance agents tend to make a lot of money from commissions, and they're willing to sell you nonsense. They do not have a fiduciary standard, meaning they do not have to keep your best interests in mind. What they keep in mind is their pockets, right? So you got to know that up front. Know what type of insurance that you need and know what it's serving for, right? Your life insurance is to make sure your family isn't saddled with a bunch of debt when you die, right? It's unfortunate people die young, and you want to make sure that you aren't saddling and crippling your family with debt. Now, if you add a little bit extra on there, cool, that's fine. Because guess what? If you turn out it's you and you're married and you are the main breadwinner and your income just basically goes to zero and the other person didn't make anything, yeah, you want to make sure your family is good for a few years, right? Because there's a huge risk there. Your family takes a risk whenever you're the only one making money right off the bat. So you need to insure yourself for that reason. Okay. Don't be afraid to get life insurance. Like I said, make sure that you get the right type of insurance, the right amount of insurance, and understand what the purpose of that insurance. It's in our heads, hey, you can't get a driver's license, or you can't buy a car, drive off the lot. The dealer won't let you drive off because they need to protect sort of their butts by making sure you have car insurance, right? Car insurance is to protect in the eventuality of a car accident. And guess what? Car accidents are frequent, right? The rock hitting your windshield. Like, you need insurance. Home insurance, health insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, umbrella insurance. There's always insurance available. Now, there are some insurances that are kind of a scam, right? If you know you're going to be traveling, don't pay $100 for that travel insurance, especially if your credit card provides a little bit of that. And that's the other thing. If you're using a credit card to do rental cars and stuff like that, sometimes those credit cards come with insurance perks. Same thing with, like, if you have USAA, they give you some perks and like what you need to do. So understand everything you're purchasing. Insurance is a good thing. It protects your downside. Make sure you are insured for the right amount. If you have computers and expensive property in your home, you should have personal property insurance, right? Above a certain amount, the bank is going to want you to get it appraised so that and see the serial numbers and yada yada, so that they know what the true replacement value is. Flood insurance. If you live in a floodplain, right? When you are buying your house, you should ask, am I in a floodplain? If I'm not in a floodplain, what floodplain type is? I know I live in a flood X zone, meaning it happens once every 100 years. Know when the last flood took place, right? And even then, I still got flood insurance because I'm like, man, I don't want to run the risk. My house is expensive. I don't want to run the risk. understand these things, right? Insurance is important to protect your backside and watch your six. That's very important. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. I can get fired up about insurance. It's day 20 of 31 and we're rocking. And I appreciate y'all for supporting. If we can get to over 500 views on this channel, I will hire someone so you don't have to deal with crappy light and yada yada yada, and they can clean all these videos up. But for now, you just get me because I'm cheap and I haven't had a proof of concept yet. But I appreciate y'all for the support. And as always, stay blessed. Follow me on Twitter at FISURGI. Leave a comment. I appreciate everyone. Peace.